Welcome, everyone, to AI Sports Predictor, where cold, hard numbers meet the divine art of handicapping. Tonight, we got a matchup straight out of the Eastern Conference battlefields, Boston Bruins hosting the New York Islanders. Let's lay it out. Bruins at home? 18 wins, 9 losses, 5 little moral victories if you count those OT flukes. Islanders on the road? A clean, balanced, 12-12-5. Doesn't scream domination, does it? Now, history's got a funny way of repeating itself, and in the last 10 clashes, the Bruins hold a 7-3 record. Last 5 times they danced in Boston? Bees took 4 out of 5, like a gangster clearing a card table. Now, here's the kicker. If you're the type to enjoy goals, and I mean plenty of them, this one's singing your tune. Last 6 matchups? Over cashed in at 5-0-1. Not a fluke either. Numbers say 8, 7, 9, 6, 9, 9 in those meetings. That's not hockey. That's fireworks on ice. Both teams coming in licking their wounds. Bruins took a hit from the Maple Leafs. Islanders got smacked by the Rangers. Ain't no love lost between these squads, and when they meet, the scoreboard ain't safe. And today's AI pick is over 5.5 goals. You hear that? That's the sound of history, statistics, and a little touch of fate whispering in your ear. Don't say I didn't warn you.
Sabres. Hurricanes. One team's riding high, the other's free-falling. But don't let the records fool you, as one's got all the makings of a storm. Buffalo's rolling, 6 wins in their last 7, including a gritty comeback against Anaheim. Down 2-0, they flipped the script in the third. J.J. Peterka, Alex Touch, Henry Jokiharju, all finding the back of the net. They dominated the shot count, 37-18. That's a statement. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. They're still buried in the Atlantic, sitting 8th, 11 points back of a wild card. Playoff hopes fading. Urgency through the roof. Carolina, on the other hand, is in a tailspin. 5 losses in their last 6, the latest a brutal 4-0 shutout against Montreal. Outshot, outplayed, out of sync. They're tied for second in the Metro, but that cushion's shrinking. The offense. Descent 9th in the league at 3.22 goals a night. The defense. Usually solid, 8th best at 2.79 goals allowed. But lately, they're leaking. Now, let's talk home ice. Carolina's a beast in their own barn. 21-6-1 Buffalo on the road. A shaky 9-15-2 that's a gap you can't ignore. Factor in Kochetkov getting the nod in net, and the Hurricanes have the edge where it counts most between the pipes. And today's AI pick is Carolina Hurricanes 1.5. The Sabres are swinging, no doubt. But Carolina's desperate, and desperation's a dangerous thing. Expect the Canes to right the ship. On to Game 3.
Ah, revenge. That sweet, intoxicating illusion that rarely pays out like you think it will. Edmonton, Florida. A Stanley Cup rematch dripping with history, bad blood, and the kind of narrative Hollywood would turn into a billion-dollar franchise. But this ain't a movie. This is the cold, brutal reality of hockey. Let's set the stage. Florida, 17-10-2 at home. Feeling comfortable, like a predator in its natural habitat. Edmonton? Decent on the road, 16-10-2, but they've dropped their last 2. And worse? A 4-game losing streak. They ain't just losing, they're getting cooked, outscored 22-11 over that stretch. Bleeding an average of 8.25 goals per game. That's not a slump, that's a full-scale meltdown. Now, let's talk history. Last 10 matchups? Panthers own 'em, 7-3. The last 2 straight? Florida, including Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, the game that sent Edmonton packing. Empty-handed, back to the cold north. And here's where it gets even worse for the Oilers. Last 5 games in Sunrise? 4-1 Panthers, outscoring Edmonton 17-10. Now Connor McDavid? He's still a machine. No debate. But even a Ferrari don't mean much when you're driving it through a hurricane. And this Panthers squad? They're the storm. 5 of the last 6 meetings have hit the over. Florida isn't just beating Edmonton. They're torching them. And today's AI pick is Florida Panthers. Moneyline. The Oilers might want revenge, but wanting and getting ain't the same thing. Florida's got their number, and until Edmonton stops the bleeding, there's only one side to be on. On to Game 4.
Oh, this one's got all the makings of a blood feud. Flyers. Penguins. A home-and-home that just saw Philly smack Pittsburgh 6-1 like they were some bottom feeder trying to sneak into the club without an invite. And now, they take the fight to enemy territory. The City of Steel. The house Crosby built. But let's be honest right now, that house is on fire and the Penguins. They're the ones holding the match. Philly. 3 straight wins. Feeling themselves. Walking into this one knowing they just buried Pittsburgh in their own grave. And the Penguins. 4 straight losses. Not just losing bleeding. No team in the entire Eastern Conference has surrendered more goals than Pittsburgh. 220. You don't win games when you're giving up goals like you're passing out candy on Halloween. History says the Penguins hold the edge in the last 10, 6-4, but history also says Philly has taken the last 2. And they didn't just win. They embarrassed Pittsburgh. 9 goals scored. 3 allowed. That's a beatdown, not a rivalry. And here's the cherry on top. Last time out, we backed the over, and guess what? It hit. Because this ain't about who wins, it's about the scoreboard lighting up like a Christmas tree. And today's AI pick is over 6.5. Pittsburgh's a sinking ship with holes everywhere, and Philly. They've got torpedoes. The only thing stopping this game from turning into another goal fest is if they forget to bring extra pucks. On to Game 5.
Alright, final stop of the night, Anaheim, California. Ducks, Canucks, a Western Conference clash where history's got its hands all over this one. Vancouver, they own this matchup, last 10 meetings, 9-1, last 8, straight wins. Like clockwork, they don't just beat Anaheim. They write the script before the puck even drops. 29 goals for, 15 against, and here's where it gets real interesting. The under has cashed in 6 of the last 7. Every game, tight, low scoring, and controlled. None of this track meet nonsense, just calculated, disciplined hockey. And today's AI pick is under 5.5. Now, let's run it back, because tonight was a masterclass. 5 games, 5 picks, 5 ways to stay ahead of the books. Islanders vs Bruins, over 5.5. Goals, goals, more goals. These two can't help themselves. Sabres vs Hurricanes, Carolina minus 1.5. The Sabres are streaking, but Carolina owns home ice. Oilers vs Panthers, Panthers minus 120. Edmonton's in freefall. Florida, they've been their nightmare. Flyers vs Penguins, over 6.5. Pittsburgh's a defensive disaster. Philly's bringing the heat. Fire up the scoreboard. Canucks vs Ducks, under 5.5. History don't lie when these two play. Defense wins. And that, my friends, is how it's done. Subscribe. Smash that like button. This ain't just sports betting, it's eye-powered. Cold-blooded, professional handicapping at its finest. Stay sharp, stay dangerous. We'll see you for the next one.